Hi, I'm Ian from Paul's Fishing Systems, and I'm here today to talk to you about the ShoreThing device. This is a fantastic device. It's going to protect your Kontiki from shark bite-offs, and it's going to make setting in drifting weed areas much easier, and when used correctly will increase your catch. The key to achieving a perfect deployment of your hook section with your ShoreThing is to be sure you've wound your hook section correctly. When you've wound it correctly, your hooks should deploy flawlessly, just like this. So, we've pulled all the hooks off, now it's time to put them back on. Okay. Placement of the spool on the post provided. Only has one slot that the handle can go in for your ratchet. The key to maintaining perfect tension on your spool is never letting go of that line whilst winding. If you need to put the line down for whichever reason, we suggest tucking that line into a slot before walking away. First thing you need to do is wind the sinkers on at the bottom of the drop line. To make sure these go on correctly, be sure not to cross them over each other. It should look like this. Now we keep winding until we come to the first stopper. You'll feel it hit your hand. Your hooks are on a swivel that runs between two stops. You're going to bring this first stop to about one hand span away from the spool. We bring that swivel to that stop. And the hook line goes the same way around the spool that the main line is. Always maintaining your line going up and down the spool evenly so as not to bunch up at either side. We've stopped one hand span away, hook comes up, same thing again. Whilst winding your main line onto the spool here, it's important to keep the constant tension on that line with your left while winding with the right. When we come to our stops, we like to bring the stops approximately one hand span away from the spool. What this does is puts this hook here right in front of where I'm working. Very easy to see what I'm doing here. If that stop's too far away, it's not very easy. I'm leaning over the spool to try and see a slot that works. Too close, we're going to have the same problem. We found one hand span away works perfect. Now, when choosing a slot, it doesn't matter whether it's top or bottom. All we want to look for is a slot where the eye of the hook looks as though it's about halfway in that slot. So we bring the hook around, we find a slot that works for us. This here looks pretty good. Slide it through while removing just enough tension to allow the length to get through there, then reapply the tension. Turn the hook, that's that hook in, ready. Here's a row of sinkers. We want to make sure we wind these on correctly, placing them alongside any other sinkers or against the side plate if the case might be. We don't want to lay them across another row of sinkers like such. Another stop is next. Again, swivel to the stop closest to the spool. Hook goes around the same way as your main line. And we're looking for a slot that matches. Top or bottom, it doesn't matter. With a bit of practice, completely respooling your hook section should take less than 10 minutes. And remember, you're not only storing your line as such, you're preparing it for your next set. All that's left to do is bait it. There are no more clipping on traces. Now occasionally, you may come to a point where you have a row of hooks here and a row of hooks here, and your hook just doesn't have a home. What we do in these occasions, release the ratchet just a little bit, allow some line to come back off. Remembering, don't let go of that line, keeping the tension. Now when we rewind that line, we go up and down a little more sharply, change that pitch. What this does, it uses a larger amount of line for that same rotation. Your hook will now have a different place. And that's it. When you come to the end with this coast lock clip, we recommend just finding a slot close to the clip. You can just tuck it in. That stores it, stops it from unwinding, keeps all that line nice and tight. If you've done it correctly, this is how it should look. Line on here nice and tight. The hooks aren't loose in the slot, but easy to move up and down. You can put as large a bait on there as you like, and the hooks will not come out on their own until deployed.